Yeah, everybody all over the world, put a smile on your face. Yeah, just for a few minutes we gon' talk about. Yeah, this joy gives me this joy. Ooh, I have brightens up my day. Yeah. We've been paid endured, but joy, for it's where I find strength through those sleepless nights. But joy keeps on.
Once again, we are here. It is a Thursday. I'm in the room with my brothers, the one and only Jay Morris, Darian Brister, the husbands of Angel and Enon. That's what's most important. Who they are don't really matter. It's who their wives are. And so when I change the camera, make sure you take a good look at Jay's t-shirt that his wife made him put on. She dresses him. Of course, that's why he look good. Shout out to me and Darian that we take care of the honey-do list before we get to what we got to do, just in case, so we can stay married, you know what I'm saying, and get in bed at night. So, you know, shout out to my girl Enon, who's just over 30 years old. Amen. According to her daughter, she's not a young Joe. I'm going to turn it over to these brothers. Last week, if you didn't check out the episode from last week, check it out. We had one of my fathers in the ministry, the one and only Pastor Paul Lee of the Jones Memorial Baptist Church over there in North Philadelphia. He was on dropping some jewels, and he will be back. When he comes back, we're going to give him the floor, and I think me and Darian and Jay are probably going to sit way over to the side. We just going to put Pop in the middle, and we just going to let him do all of the, with his, ladies and gentlemen, with his Barry White preaching tone. Now turn it over to the one and only Darian Brister and Jay Morris.
And listen, it is here. It is here. My fourth installment of the Meditations album is on all streaming platforms. It is on iTunes, Amazon Music, wherever you get your music from. You can just type in J Morris Meditations. You'll see all four of them up there: 1, 2, 3, and 4. The fourth one is definitely different because it not only has meditation music, inspirational music, it also has I included the worship sector of what I do as well. So as I always say with meditations, understanding what it is, if y'all are looking for church, that's not your album. The meditation series is simply for your relaxation, for your sleep, for the wellness of the soul, and whatever capacity that may be for you, whether it's prayer, whether it's meditation. That's why it's called meditation. So go support as well. I got another surprise for y'all. I'm going to put it out on social media after I get finished. And you guys, I'll probably be on live around 6 p.m. tonight. So to explain more of everything that's going on with it. So enjoy the show today because we got a hot one for you today. And I can't wait for my brother Darian to introduce these questions. Because as I said, he loves walking into the lion's mouth, but we going to get into it today. I promise you.
Does.
All right. Back to you, D.
All right, cool. So here's what we're going to do today. Normally we start every episode with revisiting some comments from previous episodes that we didn't get a chance to get to real time. Today we want to take the entire episode really digging into some of those comments that we have not been able to get to, one of which was mentioned last week, but we didn't really get a chance to dig into it. So this one was from Rob Speaks. Rob's question was, for those who want to be mentored, how does one find a competent, knowledgeable mentor? When we were coming up, we had to just look over people's shoulder and hope to remember what we saw by the time we got home to practice. Jay, you want to start with this one?
Sure.
He threw it right to you.
Yeah. You know.
He said, "Here, you take it."
So here's the deal. This used to be an easy question, but now the times are different, and most cats are not so forthcoming with showing you what either you want to know or what they already know. It's not as easy as it used to be where cats would take you under the wing. It used to be a season where somebody like a Stephen Ford would have about 8 musicians sitting on the front row or around him, and they didn't need to play. It was good enough just watching him, just doing what he does. Jojo Wiley and those wonderful brothers that used to just do it because they loved it.
Yeah.
And you were sitting because you wanted to learn. You were earnest in wanting to learn. It wasn't a thing of I'm gonna get it and walk away. We were hungry.
Yeah.
And so the cats that we studied under, we just wanted to know more. Personally, I loved hearing Darren Miller play. Shout out to him.
Yes, sir.
It was just, he was so effortless with his playing. Shout out to Ernie Saunders.
Yeah.
God rest his soul. And it was for us coming up, they didn't have to really sit down with us. We kind of would peek over the shoulder.
Yeah.
And we would see what they were doing. And then we would try to go home and mimic it.
Yeah.
So trying to find musicians now that'll sit down with you, you may have to pay nowadays. What used to come free, usually you may have to pay. If you find somebody that I personally do not charge because I can't take it with me when I go. So that's just me, but everybody may not feel that way. But nowadays it may be a little harder to find musicians that will sit down with you and show you what they know, because we just don't live in that kind of time no more. You know, everybody's more selfish. Everybody's more of a go-getter for themselves. Not to say that there are musicians that won't. It just may be a little more complicated than it used to be, in my opinion.
Yeah. Okay. So this is where I want to start. Where I want to start is, I guess, properly acknowledging the word mentor. Because in the context that we're speaking, I think it gets secluded to just your musical ability.
That's a good.
But for me, when you use the word mentor, there's more at play. Yes, your skill, but also your character. To me, you can't separate that if we're talking about looking for a mentor. That, again, that's my opinion there. It can't be just, particularly, again, in the YouTube generation, where if you're just looking to get licks, if you're just looking to get substitutions, passing progressions, this, that, and the third, if that's all you want, you can get all of that and more on YouTube.
Wow.
The mentor thing, for me, it carries more weight than just the skill.
Yes, I agree.
It carries more weight. And so I got to start there, because I think that's the biggest disconnect. The biggest disconnect is, as the mentee, effective mentee, we have, again, secluded mentorship just in terms of skill level. Just in terms of skill level. But when I bring up character, like, okay, a mentor should be someone that no matter what you do, you hold yourself accountable to them. So if they tell you you're out of order, if they tell you you're out of pocket, then you immediately listen to that. You immediately take self-inventory. You're not, kind of in your feelings and mad at what they're saying because of who is saying it.
Right.
You already know, based on how you've built this connection, that whatever they say to you is meant to build you up, not to tear you down. So that's where I want to start, is that make sure, as someone who's looking for a competent, knowledgeable mentor, that, you're not just looking for someone to show you skills. You're not just looking for that. Now, I want to push it a little bit further, and then, Pels, I want to get your thoughts. All right. So the next thing, in terms of, because Rob talked about, we had to look over people's shoulder, hope to remember. So there's something hidden here. We had to look over people's shoulder and remember. The thing that's hidden here, I believe, is the chase.
The hunger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I mean by the chase is you purposely positioned yourself around those you looked up to.
Yes.
You purposely positioned yourself in proximity.
Proximity, I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah. You purposely, so that you could get whatever came out of those moments. Sometimes that would be skills. Other times that would be knowledge, wisdom, understanding, how to maybe discern certain things.
Yes.
So there's a chase factor in there where you purposely position yourself in proximity to those. And when you do that, also, I would say, please remember that every mentorship connection may not look the same. So sometimes we take an expectation in of how it's supposed to look, that it has to look a traditional way, when that might not be the case, depending on who you're looking to for mentoring. It may not be okay, you sit as the mentee, you sit here in the organ, you play this, and then I give you pointers. It may not look that way.
Right.
It may look differently. It may be it may be a lot more phone conversations where you guys are kind of talking through songs and moments of a song.
Okay.
So try not to presuppose what the mentorship should look like, because again, depending on who you're looking to, their schedule may not permit them actually sitting one-on-one with you at the instrument.
So let me ask you this, and before you turn over the pedals, let me ask you why you're still on that. The times that we live in now, where, because I totally agree 100%. The times that we're living now, where the spirit of offense is so rampant, where and so he's asking the question, okay, how can you find a competent mentor? Could it be also a look at the self as well? Because back in the day, I remember being pushed off the organ, being pushed off the keyboards, because whatever I was doing, I didn't have the proper experience to read the room.
Yeah.
It wasn't more of playing, more than it was, as you say, discerning certain situations.
Yep.
But we didn't get mad at that time. It built us up. We wasn't the happiest about it.
Yeah.
Some things, it will hurt your feelings, but it grew you.
Yeah.
But nowadays, cats ready to fight.
Nowadays, everybody wants growth to be comfortable.
Exactly. So when you tell a person, man or woman, and you say, listen, who are you? So now it's like, even, is it a thing of mentorship, or is it a possible self-look as to, are you ready for that type of mentor? Because as you say, there's different types and they look differently. So can you be corrected by that mentor?
Yeah, because again, I think that was one of the main reasons I wanted to at least give my perspective of what a mentor is.
Yeah.
Because if you have the proper perspective of what a mentor is, then taking correction is not something that's difficult.
Got it.
But if you're just looking for someone to give you skills and never hold you accountable in any other place, then we get to what you're talking about in terms of the oversensitivity.
Yeah.
Pels?
I'm a little different. So I look up mentorship, and it's almost like the self-care terminology to me, where when self-care came into play, I'm looking at it, and the results or the benefits that I see people getting from what they call self-care is something that's like stuff that I was already doing. So like, I go out and I cycle at least 7,500 miles a year.
Yeah.
I plan to do that. I like people jump on these fasts. It's cool when the pastor's like, we're going to fast, or, you know, you do that seasonal fast. But I do a practice of fasting, praying along where the way I eat. Like certain times I just don't go out to eat because I'm in a headspace, in a spiritual space that is akin to the lifestyle of fasting, right? To the point where attaching the word fasting and lifestyle, exercise and lifestyle, not it's the beginning of the year and everybody's showing pictures of Planet Fitness, or it's summertime where somebody just passed away of a heart disease or something like that. Yeah. And now we're preaching, we got to eat healthier. No, I'm going to eat my croissant and I'm going to eat my cheesesteak or whatever, because I have a lifestyle of a discipline. Mentorship at one time meant a lot because we didn't have, as Darian said, social media. We didn't have the YouTubes. We didn't have easily accessible information, right? So if I'm just trying to better my skills as a musician, back in the day, you didn't have that stuff. You had to go buy the book. You had to go get the lessons. You had to be in the church with, or as Dave Bell said, you had to go to the Koji convention or whatever and sit next to a Darren Miller and try to get as much as you can. And then hopefully afterwards, people like that, the Stephen Fords, whoever's, they would sit down and show it to you. But like Darian said, I can just open my phone and see it. So if mentorship carries the definition of advising, right, or showing, then now if we add in the social media element, we don't actually have to know the person that's actually indirectly mentoring us, because we're always going to their page and they're always giving us something. Yeah. It really comes down to what you want to learn. So what Rob Speaks is saying here, for those who want to be mentored, right? I believe, and I don't use these terms too widely, but if there was such a thing as a spirit of ignorance, right? If you say, I want to be mentored, you can't stop me from being mentored by you if you are public. Yeah. Let that sink in. Yeah. Because if I want to be mentored by Corey Henry, the only difference that people conflate and confuse is if you know him personally and if you sat with him personally. But if he has modules and he has YouTubes and he has instructional things that you can buy, that's almost the same as the person that sits with him in the living room that's mentored, because you're getting the same information, you're just paying for it. So, and the way I remember mentors, you bless them, right? So if you bless them, you paying them anyway. But if you don't know them and they got a course, then you can get their course, and in a sense, it's, and I'm not trying to mix the terms up, I get it. But there is I think the only distinction we have now is, do I personally know the person? Yeah. But the mentorship part, it's not something you got to beg for now. You got to want it. A conversation we had before we started, and I'm going to get off camera, was the part of how much do you want it?
There you go.
I don't actually have a personal mentor with photography, but I do have mentors. That don't even know that they're a mentor. Now, when I finally meet them, I've already been mentored by them. I'm out.
Love it.
Let me shout out who I consider mentors for me, particularly in terms of that I had proximity to. First guy's name was Sidney Weston. The next guy's name is Robert Brickhouse. Those are guys that, you know, I had proximity to. Now, those who I didn't have proximity to Pell's point, that were public, I think anybody that plays Hammond in church, you've been slightly mentored by Melvin Crispell.
Talk, sir. I like it.
Rest in heaven. But
whether you met him personally or not.
There you go. And I never met him personally. But the hours that I spent with them James Hall records, hours I spent with them James Hall records.
That's good.
I do want to throw this in. Feel free to revisit this, Jay, because it came up about payment a couple times, and this is another thing that I think has an interesting dynamic in the musician community, which is investing in yourself. investing in yourself. So in a situation where you desire a specific mentor and they offer you the platform of, one-on-one, but, they request a fee. I've seen many musicians look at that negatively.
Yes, they will.
I've seen many musicians look at that negatively. And my question is, okay, well, when do you start investing in yourself? When do you start investing in yourself? And investing in yourself means you're spending your own money for your benefit, for your growth, for your progression. So when do you start invest? And again, please don't mistake me, to say that you should be paying somebody $500 an hour. That's not what I'm saying. But I would say please give good consideration to investing in yourself, whether that is, paid lessons or mentorship, whether that is, you investing your own money to go to different workshops to put yourself in proximity of other great players. Whatever the case that is. But let's not put all that on the church.
Right.
Let's not put all of that on, if the church want me to get better, they should invest. Let's not put all of it there.
That's right.
Now, they should be willing to invest along with you.
I agree.
I don't disagree with that if you say, the church should be willing to invest at least a part in my, but then that, that brings in other nuances in terms of, okay, have you invested yourself in that church?
Right.
Before you have this expectation of, them investing in you. So, but yeah, again, consider if you really want it, like Pell said, consider investing in yourself. Yeah. Anything else you wanted to add before we go to the next comment, Jay?
Yeah, I think that here's the pen, the cushion again. I think that the reason why it's looked at negatively, if a musician say, listen, I'm going to charge you $50 for the hour, but I'm going to work closely with you. I think that's looked at negatively the same way payment in the church overall is looked at. I think it's just a mindset.
Yeah.
And, at the end of the day, we pay the plumber. We can pay the chef. We can pay the contractor.
Yeah.
But for some reason, even the church can pay the plumber. They'll pay the plumber.
Yeah.
They'll pay the electric. They'll pay the water. But for some reason, when it comes to this, we've all, at one point or another, adapted that mindset.
Yeah.
And so when you said it could be looked at negatively, a lot of times it is. And so they expect it. But as you said, it should be something that you should take pride in and say, okay, I'm going to invest in myself.
Yeah.
I mean, even at my age, I still want to invest in myself. I still want to invest in my mentor's time and say, hey, listen, I still want to bless you because you've been blessing me for years.
Yeah.
And I can still learn, but most of the stuff I learned is not on the organ.
Yeah.
Most of the stuff I learned has nothing to do with music. As you were saying earlier, most of the things I learned from my mentor is about character.
Yeah. Go ahead and put that up.
So
go ahead and put that up, Pels.
Yeah. So, okay. I like this, and I'm just going to add. I can't even find my camera button because I'm excited about this. No. Okay, there I am. So, Dave, I like this, right? And you're hitting something that keeps the conversation going with most people. I get where you're coming from, but I want to touch on this. I'm gonna put this back up. This is crazy because and listen, people, this is what Dave Bell is saying, and I love it. Could we possibly be blending a musical inspiration to a mentor? Answer to that, yes. It can be blended, or you're almost a mix-up.
Yeah.
In a good way. Now, I'm sorry it keeps dropping off, but look, a lot of guys need, I love it, mentors to teach accountability, being a man of your word, how to carry yourself, and there's not a YouTube manual for that. Now, herein lies the question. Secular musicians don't really have the same problem that church musicians have. I'm going to tell you why. Because if you go on the road and play for a artist, you discuss how much you getting paid. They tell you the material. They tell you where you traveling, you staying, how much money you going to get to eat with. And some of us done been out on the road. You got small food budgets. You got big ones. You get on the bus with the artist. You don't get on the bus. You don't even talk to the artist. You only rehearse with them and you leave them alone. You don't get pictures. You don't know my mom. Oh, look, I want to say hi to song. You don't get all of that. It's cut, dry, plain and simple. Now, with church, right? If we a little broke, Reverend, I need a couple of extra dollars, or can I get in advance, or I need to take off. And I know we don't have this, that, and third. We get all of these little in-betweens. On the flip side, we have leaders in church that treat the musicians like they're any and anybody, right?
Yep.
Let's look at both sides, but let's add this little piece in there. With a church, are you an employee that gets paid, or are you a contractor? Think of the difference. If I have a business and I contract somebody to fix the roof, they don't belong to the building.
Yeah.
They're doing a service. They're participating. I'm benefiting from it. I'm paying them. They're out the door.
Yeah.
They're not worried about the trash on the floor. They're not worried about the bathrooms nasty. That's not their concern. They are contracted. They're out. If we treat churches in the music section like this is why we don't care if the organ's jacked up. We just be like, yo, they organ is jacked up. We have no vested interest in it other than the stool needs to be right for me to play on it to get my check. But that's your problem, not mine.
Yeah.
When I belong to the church, it bothers me that the organ ain't working. So I'm harassing the trustees.
Yep.
I'm even to the point where I can't afford to do it, but if y'all got to cut my pay to fix the organ, I need y'all to fix the organ, and then we could talk about paying me back. See where I'm going, people?
Yeah.
When you just subcontracted, you don't have no vested interest in. So now, today's point of the mentorship, what is the pastor for? What are the deacons for? What is the wisdom the elders and the old teach the young? What is that all about? Because for me, the mentorship that I needed, I got it from the deacon board, the trustee board, the grandpa board, the grandmom board, all of that. So I didn't need nobody outside of my church to mentor me into what I was supposed to be doing in church. Then Jesus has been my mentor. If I'm saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost, and I'm such a Levite and so anointed, and in the Word of God, I read my Bible, I know my Bible, I listen to the Word, but that got you. So what's the mentoring we need to know I don't need to be smashing 3-4 joints and I'm cheating on my wife and I'm doing this, that, and the third, I'm drinking, coming in high and all of that. Do we need mentorship for it, or do we need salvation for that? See, that's where I get in trouble at. I've been on both sides of it.
Yeah.
I stayed out, Greek picnic, stayed out to 7 o'clock in the morning, went home, showered, came in, and did my job every Sunday. Did not need a mentorship for that. You know who my mentors were? The same Negroes was out there smoking weed, say, "Don't you gotta go to church tomorrow?" Right? They was actually mentoring me.
Yeah.
Because, and then the Holy Spirit in me just said, yo, Negro, you need to get it together. Now, some people need it, but if we start to use that as the training wheels or the bumpers for bowling, we'll never know how to throw a strike without the bumpers.
Yeah.
Bowlers know what I just said,
Yes,
right? So in a sense, I think our expectation of accountability, we throw the excuses around rather than, we cannot keep leaving out the element of, are you saved? Now, if you're not saved, we can discuss all that other mentorship stuff.
Yeah.
But with church, I'm sorry. That's just one of those things. Y'all help me. Y'all take it back. That's just something that I don't complain about or beat on people with it. But I'm going to be the Terrence Howard sitting at the table with Morris Chestnut and be a face and voice of reason.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask the hard question and say, listen, bro, you know, because my pastor, he don't take time, this, that, and the third. Dog, you have a father, you have a pastor, you got an uncle, you got this one, you got that one. And now you just want to point at the one person that's not actually helping you, the one that's not really mentoring you. Any good pastor has a form of mentorship by default because that's your pastor. I'm sorry. If you just listen to, I want to say, any preachers out there, y'all say amen. I'm going to say this on the behalf of pastors that are legit and hold integrity to the word of God. Forget your Sunday sermon. If your people took any one of your last 50 Bible studies and they actually sat and paid attention, there's enough information, discipline, conviction, and everything in one of those Bible studies to tell you you ain't right.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
So the main thing is people going to do what they want to do. And they're going to make excuses. Now, here's my little closed cap, and I'll be done with this. I'll move off of it. I believe that the structure of the ministry, that when the music department, audio, video, everybody sits down and they become, if you want to get paid, then consider yourself an employee that represents that company. So therefore, everything is your problem too. So if the bathroom is all jacked up, you got mold growing in it. If we need a handicap ramp and stuff, you can't be asking for a raise and knowing it's only 15 people in that sanctuary. It is your problem too. Y'all hear what I'm saying? If you subcontract it, it ain't your problem. But if you are an employee, it is your concern too. So you have a say in the matter. How can I help? Okay, I'm done.
Yep. So if I could give a short, direct answer to the original question, how does one find a competent, knowledgeable mentor? Well, based on your area where you're at, okay, who is the most respected and sought after guys in your region doing what you aspire to do? Once you identify that, then that's where the chase begins. That's where the chase begins in terms of at least starting to try and position yourself in proximity.
Agreed.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next comment. Good with that?
Yep.
All right. Dave Bell, we coming your way.
All right.
Dave Bell.
Comment was, how long does a church employ a musician before seeing about him becoming a member of the church? Does this change the outlook on the duties the musician fulfills because it's their church? We might be here for a while.
This rolls into where we was just at. Yep. I love it, Dave. Good stuff.
So I'll start. And what I want to do is I want to start with, I guess, sectioning some things off and identifying some key things and what you're asking, some key dynamics. Okay.
Oh, I got you, Darren.
Go ahead.
I'll throw this one out and you take it back.
Yeah.
The default question would be, do they have a home church? If they have a home church, we're not expecting them to join this church. But we expect them to have the same discipline from their home church. There should be a rapport of the character, behavior, on timeliness, sowing into, and whatnot from the home church. Now, if there's no home church, there's no church that you're a member of, that you give, tithe, whatever your preference is, that you have an allegiance to or a loyalty to, then there comes into play this. That's the setup that I had. Go ahead, Darren.
All right. One more time. How long does a church employ a musician before seeing about him becoming a member of the church? And then does this change the outlook on the duties the musician fulfills because it's their church? So let's start with the front end, and Pels, I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna use a lot of what you just said.
You said the front end,
I'm gonna use a lot of what you just said because, okay, you talked about, if they have a home church or if they don't, and this goes back 5-6 episodes in terms of, okay, is this part of the initial conversation? Or are we in a hurry to fill this position. That's the first thing that comes up. It is what you just offered, Pels. Is that part of the conversation? Because here is where it can get messy when you talk about how long does a church employ a musician before. Right there, that can lead to a mess because you started off the relationship and connection one way, and then you're looking to change the rules of engagement. And again, that conversation was not had up front. So for many musicians, if you brought me in as an employee, that's my expectations indefinitely.
Yep.
And then when you reapproach me later on about becoming a member,
What's the motive?
What's the motive? That's where I was going. What's the motive? My eyebrow goes up.
Yep.
Why are we talking about this now? Why didn't we discuss this on the front end? That's where I got to start before we even get to the second sentence, because that's a whole nother layer with the second, or question B part of the question. That's a whole nother layer. So how long does a church, if I'm answering the question, Dave, that should be immediately. Again, when I say immediately, meaning, okay, to Pell's point, are you a member of a church currently? And I'm talking about asking this question at the beginning. Before I look to hire you. Wait a minute, are you a member of a church? Okay, if you are, okay, how do you feel? Or let me ask this question, really. Is there a reason you're not serving your home church in the same capacity that you're looking to serve us? Or are you serving that church? So we got to talk through some particulars. We got to talk through some particulars before I just employ you and I have a subconscious hope that 6, 9 months, 2, 3 years down the line, you will become a member. But all that stayed in my subconscious. It never came out of my mouth toward you. James, your thoughts? Jay, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, you know how many pastors have been disillusioned by this simple subject right here? Many of them have had come to Jesus moments with this.
Jay, you always say something that sticks to me, man.
Because
Jay is so settled with it. Like, he just said something out of his mouth and come to Jesus. Go ahead, Jay.
Because, as you said, it starts one way, and the expectation is simple. You hired me to do this particular job, and now that you see that I'm not just any musician, I am actually a good guy. Now you, and this has happened, now you want to take me as a son. You want to have sonship.
Yep.
Forced mentorship.
Yes. Forced. This is my son. Oh, I said it over the pulpit. When was this discussed? This is my son on the organ. No. And I'm sure we've all been there before. But when did we discuss that? Because if I don't come to church on Sunday because I'm not sick, where's the sonship in that right there? Because you're going to dock me. Then it becomes business. The sonship ain't there no more.
Nope.
So, I personally, I want to say that. It's hard these days and times to mix ministry and employment. Not ministry and personal. It's hard to mix ministry and employment because of the expectation that is not said.
Yeah.
And people are hurt because of it.
Yep.
And like we all know, usually when you leave a church, you're excommunicado. You know, for any reason. It don't even matter. It's like a all of a sudden now, because you left, whether it was justified or not. The pastor wanted me to join and I didn't, or, you know, this happened. No matter what happened, you're now excommunicado. The people don't call you no more. If you need something, you're no longer allowed to ask.
Yep.
And so now you see just where you stood the entire time, because now the pastor is hurt. So now he's hurt because you won't become a son, or he's hurt because you won't become a member. And like you said, because that was never talked about.
Yeah.
These are the things that you get now at the end. Now that we're at this juncture, because I'm ready. I've been here 3 years. I'm fine where I am.
Yeah.
You're not fine where I am. And it's almost like you're pressured in your mind. Okay, I need a musician that's going to be a member. Well, that's something you should have said.
There you go.
And now trying to say it, that doesn't, that makes me, as you say, look at you funny now. Because like Pell said, what's your motive? Because your motive is going to be wrong.
And there's another layer there. There's another layer in terms of, okay, if you do say in the beginning, you know, we're in search of a musician, minister of music, blah, 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 blah. We would like them to become a member of the church. So here's the layer there. Well, okay, I gotta get to know your church before I even consider joining.
Right.
So now we got to talk through the details of how that looks. And going back to your point about it's difficult to mix or merge ministry and business. What makes it difficult, and you said it, what makes it difficult is not only the expectations that are not communicated, but almost refusing to communicate them.
Right.
And again, it goes back to your motive. I almost have to suspect that you left this out purposely.
Yeah.
Because you weren't ready to have that uncomfortable conversation
Because of the need.
up front, because of the need. Pelza, you got thoughts?
Yeah, so you know what? Something that my sister Lauren puts up. Maybe they think if the musician doesn't join, they'll leave, right? This is something that that always got me. Once my father passed away, because I was a keyboard player, right? And this is why y'all get mad with me all y'all want. This is why by default, if you had a budget of $900, right? And you said I got a 3-piece band, the first thing would be, on so many levels, each guy gets $300.
Yeah.
But then there's the thing, if you took 3 instruments and you said Hammond, bass, and drums, you automatically put the bigger chunk at the Hammond, and you split the bass and the drum depending, and then you downside like that. I'm not saying that's the way it should be. That's just by default we do
what
that.
We see commonly,
right? Because of the 300-pound gorilla in the room, the person on the B3 is going to be the person that if I don't have a choir director, they can teach the parts.
Yep.
They're going to deal with the shenanigans that come with the reputation of not the actual character, but the reputation of the drummer and the bass player. You know, the drummer's kind of this kind of person. The bass player is an add-on, but we need it. It's dope because the drummer likes the bass player and this, that, and the third. The organist likes it.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you take all of that, this is a musician section. I was the keyboard player, the minister of music, literally. So that meant that because I had a dedication to my father and that church as a member, nobody ever worried about that corner, right? It was solid. When you don't have that, or shout out to Lamar Person, his son is a drummer, and Pastor John Roberts, his dad, John world famous renowned drummer, they didn't have a organist in the family. So you had to depend on that one sound. It's churches that got a bunch of dope drummers. Spanky, his sister's church. You got Spank McGurdy sitting there, and you have to call the CJ. You got to call the Keith. You got to call the so-and-so to fill in somebody that's not a part of. When you have the organist as a dedicated member, son, daughter, whatever, you straight. All you need is hand clapping and tambourine, and you can figure it out, and you can call in the drummers. So to Lauren's point that I like, when you're not family of any sort, there's this push to try to lock you in to make you commit. It's like, if you like it, put a ring on it type thing. And so they're throwing out this mentorship thing, sonship, to throw a ring on it to secure having you. This is the problem with churches. If people that are gifted and called to play and minister, you have to literally find a place that you can. I don't want to throw this out there. Y'all can get mad with me, but I'm just using for reference. You got to Tom Brady it a little bit. Okay? Or you got to Allen Iverson the Sixers a little bit. In other words, you got to choose a home spot because you're that good. And that way you're not over here being traded everywhere because you dope. You chose to be there. You're like, I am Jay and I am so dope, but this is the house of worship I chose to help grow and build. Because then I'm going to speak from a pastor's perspective. It helps the pastors, the leaders of that, the under shepherd of that house, with the security to know that this is one of the pieces I don't have to worry about. Because we have a relationship, and it's not just me they're here for. How many times have y'all ever heard people say, oh, I like the pastor, but I don't mess with the members? That means you like the pastor and you like the money and you dealing with the people, but you're the one that they hear. They're shouting to you playing. They're singing to you playing, and you don't have a relationship with the people in the pews. This is why it's necessary. So to answer and get back in line and reset, and where Dave Bell's the second part of it, does this change the outlook on the duties of the musician that they fulfill because it's their church? You have to be invested in somewhere. And the good look for everybody that's like, look, make the extra money. Because if I'm pastoring and I start at 12, I need these guys. I'm going to wherever they serve at mainly. Their pastor is going to know they're hanging with me after they leave here. And I am going to vouch for their behavior, character after that. And it's something where we have to be one with it. If not, we're going to look like the NBA in trades, and we never know what game we watching because there's no vested cultural instance. So to close this, y'all know I'm a preacher, and PJ just put up a post about long-windedness. So let me cut the wind. So as I cut the wind, I come take my seat. I'm saying this. We want to really recalibrate and think about, where are you choosing to serve? Right? Make a decision and stick with it. Like, make a decision. Be honest with yourself. I need 500 a Sunday. Okay, so if somebody only giving you 2 or 3, then don't pick that, because you don't want that to like haunt you. Or be honest about that when you go to the table. Right? It's the before that we put in the comment section so that we're clear up front. But I don't want nobody involved with me if you can't grow with this, because we have to know that you're a part of it and you're willing to grow with. All right. So that's just my little thing on that.
So let me dive back into the second half of this, because does this change the outlook on the duties the musician fulfills because it's their church? So that question is what looms in a lot of musicians' mind.
Talk about it.
When the subject of becoming a member of the church arises. That this is a question that looms in their mind. Okay, so you want me to be a member. Again, intent, what's your motive? But let me pivot here. All right. Particularly talking about the being honest, pals.
Mm-hmm.
How many of you pastors have sat across from a musician and you could tell that they were not being forthcoming? Musicians, how many of us have sat across from a pastor and you could tell that they were not being forthcoming?
So,
Way
Darren,
too common.
you can finish. That comes into faith. Cause the reason why, I'm glad you said it like that, Darren, from both sides of the table. I've seen it. On the one hand, we're so desperate to make sure everybody shout good on Sunday, and we need that good musician. GOWDT, whatever. We need that good musician. We need that good drummer, right? So we'll scratch and survive and cut corners and expect everybody to clean up for free, do everything else free. We'll get to that painting later because we got to have this music right, or else the people ain't going to come.
Yeah.
So on the one hand, we'll just we smell that they smoke more than Cheech and Chong. And we holy anointed and everything, but we'll deal with that. Everybody deserve a chance. I hear you, but that bull about to come in high. I'm high just with you in my office. On the flip side, you know daggone well you asked for $450 a Sunday, and they don't even look like they can pay somebody $100 a Sunday.
Yeah.
But because they need that music that bad, they're telling you yes. And then about 5 weeks later, we got hold on to that check for a second, and we'll call you and let you know when.
Yep.
Right? If a church ain't cash apping you on Sundays now or Venmoing or something like that, like early, they might not have it.
Yeah. They might be hand to mouth, as the old folks say.
Yeah.
And then you got 10 members and you want the dopest musician to shout everybody. Teach the people and grow.
Yep.
Yeah.
What for what?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's
Darren.
all right.
For the word.
You're
So-
right. It's the honesty at the beginning of the table, and it comes from both sides.
Absolutely.
But and
Both
then we're
sides.
all the same people in the same pools.
Yep. Yeah, both sides, because here's where I'm going, pals. And then Jay, I'm coming to you.
Yep.
All right. Because I love what you said about the faith. About it has to be a faith thing, but it also has to have discernment involved. But now I'm coming to the musician side because, okay, before we as musicians accept a position, how often is it that we can say 2 to 3 reasons why we accepted the position before we get to money?
Right.
Ooh. I didn't know you was gonna do that.
Exactly.
That's good.
Exactly.
And so now we have to, as we mature, we have to start moving differently in terms of where, again, we're investing ourselves and investing our gift. We have to move and think differently. We have to start considering planning ourselves, considering church membership, not just accepting it because a church maybe makes it a requirement or a strong recommendation. But, as you are at the table having the conversation, as you are kind of negotiating, if I can use that term, or coming to agreement, that we as a musician, we start to put that as a priority. When you know better, you do better.
Yep.
When you know better, you do better. So we got to start moving differently and not just the same way we've been moving. And so, because I do believe, many might not agree with me, but I do believe that having honesty at that original conversation, I think it starts with us as a musicians community. I think it starts with us being honest, and when we're honest, then we can expect honesty from the other side.
Very true.
And watch this. If we ain't getting it, then that might be the sign that this ain't for us.
Exactly.
Darren,
Agreed.
you know what? And you and Jay, I pose this to both of y'all. And y'all can answer this because it's not going to mess up where y'all at now. But hypothetically, but really speaking, and people in the comments, if you feeling me, just put a thumbs up. You feel where I'm going with this. If I were to ask, if we were all at just a musician table and say, what would be your ideal place to serve at that you can see that marriage till death do ye part? What's your perfect scenario? Like for me, you know, people are like, yo, when you going to start pastoring again, X, Y, and Z? I'm like, at 60, I'm done. Whatever the Lord tells me to do now, 60, I'm done. Like I'm clear on that. Not done teaching, but I'm not going to be in a pulpit after 60. That's my goal. That's my plan. I never wanted to be a road musician. Like I knew that. And I knew I wasn't called to be a minister of music at a church till death do me part. So I was able to move from the organ, make the decision and the calling to preach. But I can always have my connection with music. So if you are a organist, a pianist, what is your band? Like if somebody just opened the plate up and said, what's your perfect world? Who's the person you want to be with? Like what kind of choir director do you want to work with? Or do you not like choir songs? These are the questions we don't answer at the table. What's your ideal teaching style from a pastor? Just to name a few, like I'm just going to throw it out there for dynamics. Mm-hmm. You know, are we talking to Tony Evans? Are we talking a Joel Osteen? Are we talking to TD Jakes? Are we talking to Alan Waller? Are we talking a tuner? Like, do you want to tune every Sunday or do you want to play worship chords? Mm-hmm. Because people are taking jobs that they like worship type style music, mm-hmm. but because the bag is good, they'll go to a tuner. Won't he do it? Yeah, Lord. Yeah. And they singing all these hymns and stuff, but you want to play. Mm-hmm. And outside of Sunday, your actual secular production job is movie scoring, mm-hmm. solo music, mm-hmm. you know, atmospheric stuff. Yep. And then for somebody else, you got so much of that doing your daily work, you need some down home John P. Key style church. Yeah. Be honest with ourselves. What kind of person are we? Do we like a big band or do we need a Wheeler Street Baptist church? We want strings, violin, harp. Yeah. We want a full long choir. Yeah. What do we want?
Jay, you want to tackle that first, man?
Talk to me, Jay.
In terms of what your ideal situation would be?
Well, let me start with this. Musicians that are in the I need you to comment on this one. I can say for me, whenever membership of a church used to come into a conversation, mm-hmm. the first thing I would think of is as soon as I say yes in the right-handed fellowship, the next Sunday you got me on the deacon board. I'm sitting in the front row with the mm-hmm. the black and white and the and the Stacey Adams shoes. Mm-hmm. You know, like you got me. you got me with the wingtips on, like you know. But these are the things that when you would ask me, okay, how do you feel mm-hmm. about joining? I'm like, okay, well, maybe that may not be the thing because I'm thinking that not only it's not even we don't even talk about pay, how I'm going to my outlook on this ministry, how you want me to serve will change. Yeah. Now I'll tell you, I remember the church that I joined, I was employed by. And I remember the two reasons why I joined this church before money. Mm-hmm. It wasn't even about the money. The number one reason why I joined this church is because the musicians that were there have been there for 25 plus years.
And how many musicians was that?
About 6 of them. About 6 of them. Also, the MDs and the minister of music that they did have are still a part of that ministry, even though they're not there every Sunday. That let me know something is being preached at this church. There's a reason why, because musicians don't just usually stay at anywhere 25, let alone 10 years.
Yeah.
It's very odd. That's a very rare occasion.
Yeah.
But it does happen. I said, okay. My second reason for doing that is because of the order that is there with them. Everybody's not just playing whatever they want to play or singing whatever they want to sing. It's a church with order. Yeah. Now, the young lady said in a few comments ago that maybe the preachers are scared if they join, they'll leave.
They think if they join,
they won't leave.
Yeah,
I left. I was one of the ones that did leave, and I joined. But the employment section was not for me. So I left the employment section because of some personal things that I had to deal with at home.
Yeah.
But that had nothing to do with how awesome the church is. And I still serve.
Yeah.
Even if I'm not there every single Sunday. Because, I got a lot of comments saying, well, how do you still serve? Well, you still serve because they have a lot of extra services. So I will go down there for no money at all.
Yeah.
Because if you guys need somebody, I'll do it. Because that's a part of me serving. I don't have to be there every single Sunday.
Yeah.
I don't have to.
Yeah.
You got enough musicians to do what you need to do. So they don't really need somebody to be there every single Sunday. They don't need me.
Yeah.
They have what they need. But I realize great pastor, great administration, great musicians, and the love of it's like a family there. I felt that, and I was engaged by the people.
Yeah.
Not even the pastor.
Yeah.
I was engaged by the people. The people, even the church before then I was at, the people still call me and say, "Hey, Brother Jay, how are you doing?" That's what you want to know. It's not just about my gift and what I can give to the church. I still have a soul.
Yeah.
I still have kids. I still have a wife. So I want to know, how do you care even if I can't give you what you want?
Yeah.
Even after I leave. You see what I'm saying? So to answer that question, yeah, you got some musicians that will join. And you have some musicians that say, listen, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm here, you're paying me, God bless you. I'm out after I get paid. As Pastor said, look, I don't need to know anymore.
Yeah.
If the toilet is broke, that's not my concern. But when I'm invested in your ministry, if you need me, I'm coming.
Yeah.
Why? Because it has nothing to do with y'all as a church. It has everything to do with my spiritual relationship with God, and saying that, okay, I believe that you have opened the window to my future to this particular pastor, where he can now see and he can hear from you. I have opened that door where now, Father, you can now speak to him.
Yeah.
And say whatever you need to say, even correction, if need be.
Yes, sir.
So I now put myself on the line. I now put my spirit and my heart on the line, which is unusual for musicians.
Yeah. Yes,
to
sir.
be able to say, okay, this is where I'm going to serve because this is my pastor. This is now my church family, even if I'm not there every single Sunday.
There you go.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Let me shout out some watchers. Rob Williams Jr., Draymond Ringgold, John Turner, Patrice DeLisser, Eric Charles, Cynthia Moten, James Burrows Jr., Reginald Williams, Molly Roberts. Who else we have here? Maria Bracey, Minister K. Reed Hill, Courtney Gray, James McCleary, Simone Culver, Who else we have? Cheryl Spinner Vaughn, Lee, Michael Kennedy, Mom Pelzer, Siobhan Shipman, Tiffany Blaine Dingle, Lala Reed Edney, Ronell Browder, Ramona Sharp, Vincent Quarles, Priscilla Custis, Marquis Shaw Cotman, Pastor Darrell Cook, Kimberly Quarles. Thank you all for tuning in. Lisa Smith, thank you all for tuning in. Linda Jackson, thank you for tuning in. Pels, the ideal spot from a musician's perspective, or let me say from my perspective, the ideal situation is one that is not handcuffed to a specific mode of thinking.
Good one.
I think the professional musician, the experienced minister of music, or the experienced praise and worship leader, the effective praise and worship leader, most of our battles is with antiquated modes of thinking. That is most of our battles.
Can we get a thesaurus? Does that work?
I'm sorry. Obsolete.
You good.
He's not lying. He's not lying. He's
My bad.
He's
Zach
right.
was getting on me for that a couple weeks ago. But I out of date modes of thinking.
Yep.
That's usually what most of our battles is with. So again, from my perspective, that's the main thing. Because, now you can really start to craft and mold something that is organic to the time we're in. It's organic to the time we're in, and not solely just trying to relive church in the 80s and 90s. Now, there is nothing wrong with incorporating elements from that era. But a lot of times, again, our battle is in situations where they believe that, or the belief is that is the way it should be done.
What worked always worked.
Yes. So that for me, that's where it starts, because from there, again, we can have the dialogues with everybody involved and really kind of discuss true progression as it pertains to the people that we serve. So that would be my answer, pals. It's okay. The key people, the key leaders of the church, the key decision makers of the church are not locked into an antiquated mode of thinking. Because then it's like, okay, when I present something in terms of a direction, or even something that, I feel would be beneficial, particularly relating my area, then it is met receptively, and not with, the eyebrow up. I don't know about that, good brother. We ain't never tried nothing like that.
You sound just like them too.
Or even worse, well, we've had somebody that's tried that, and this.
Go there.
We've tried it.
Go there.
I'm sorry. So we've tried it, at least in my experience. People always equate that to the flaw was the idea, not the execution.
Wow.
And in much more cases than not, the flaw was in the execution.
Right.
Not in the idea.
My God, that's good.
But because we labeled the idea flawed, it's like, no, we can't go back there. We can't try that again. We can't try. So again, that's how I would answer that question. If there's nothing else, we got time for one more comment.
Okay.
All right. This comes from Lady Dale Sharp Lee. And we were in the midst of discussing what happened to homegrown musicians, and Jay had brought up money. And when he brought up money, I had added an element to, money did change things, but who's writing the checks? So her comment was, is the challenge with getting the check or what's in the person who receives the check? meaning, or I interpret this to mean, okay, is getting the check the issue here in terms of what we were talking about? Or is it not so much getting the check, but what's in the person that receives the check? Is that what's, or is it both?
It's both. It's
Do
both.
you want to start, Pels?
Yeah, I'll start. And y'all cut me off. It's both. The reason why I'm saying it's both, because here's what we've seen. There are some organizations, churches that have the check is not the problem. The issue is when the check is not the problem, then you get the unfocused, gifted, talented, whatever you want to say, person that runs to the check that's easy. They falsify their own thinking, right? Now this goes to what Mondale says. So in this scenario, the challenge ain't getting the check. The challenge is who's receiving it. Because that person sometimes is running away from their calling to start with their giftedness, right? When you're sure about what you can do, you do things that pushes the check away because you do what you love and believe the money will follow.
Yeah.
That's a faith stance.
Yeah.
In other words, you say, I believe I'm that anointed and gifted that I can go to this because that person has the vision and a plan that God set me up to serve. And it'll be what I need to. The Lord supplieth my needs. So I have a business. My business is taking care of what I would look for in a check. So I turn the check down because this is bigger than the check.
Yeah.
And where I'm at and who I am, you'll never be able to pay me what I'm actually worth to this. Ooh, let that sink in. That's how good I am. You'll never be able to pay me what I'm worth. And if you pay me what I'm worth, y'all not even getting that on the table. That's how good I am. So this is called love offering, that I'm worthy of my hire. Now, this is why I get confused when people talk about anointed, gifted, and all that speaking in tongue stuff. Got you, right? But if you that deep, where has God called you that you are going to turn the place around and God assigned you with that leadership, not independently from the leader of that house, but along with, because the Lord led you to.
Absolutely.
You know, the Lord sent me here to this place to tell y'all to pour more oil, right? We don't see a lot of that. What we normally see is I'm waiting on somebody to ask me and here's what I'm worth, and I'm sitting back. Well, we've seen a lot of ball players like that. It's a lot of Ben Simmons out here it's a lot of B3 Ben Simmons is out here. I'll just keep it 100%. A lot of B3 Ben Simmons is out here, right? And it is very few that really understand that with their vision, even if we look at it as an independent contractor, I'm choosing where I'm going to serve. I'm not making a choice by default.
Yeah.
I'm actually targeting. So even me with photography, I don't just sit there and people was like, oh, you don't have no business cards. I'm like, no. In a sense, there's no disrespect. When you are a creative, you don't need the business cards in today's day and age. People will find you because of what they seen that you can do.
Yeah.
I'm leery of the people that's going around the venue passing the card out to every Tom, Dick, and Harry they see.
Yeah.
I look at them and say, if I'm the event planner, you're here begging for a job because nobody's believing in you. But the people that believe in you, they're asking you for the information rather than you shoving your information on them. So when you are who you are, the people that need you will come find you. TD Jakes found Jamar. Right?
Yes,
and
sir.
made an offer, a proposition. Jamar didn't apply for the Potter's house. They came and got him.
And created a position for him.
Created a position for him. So I'm just challenging folk, right? And I'm gonna get to what Mom Dale was saying, is the challenge with getting the check. In many places, the check is not the problem. It's the one receiving it. And unbeknownst to us, and it's not the church's fault, the cycle that we have going on, let's just address it, y'all. The cycle that we have going on is we got a bunch of, and I'm going to say it, we got a bunch of people that just want to get in the pulpit and shout everybody silly and get a click track and a praise dance and try to get that little preacher check. I'm sad to say. We got 15,000 revivals. Everybody got something happening during the week. We preaching the same daggone sermons to the same people, saying the same stuff over and over again and hollering, oh, you did it. And okay, I hear that, but we're missing out. And then we're trying to get the entertainment part going so everybody fills in the blank. So if people get mad over here, they go over there and then they try to fill in and then they scrape their money together to get it. If you're not building a cultural place, tenureship is not bad, right? It's time to reset. And in Issachar, the moment, understand the times we're in. People ain't got all day, right?
Nope.
And you have to be honest. You can't keep buying the entertainment because we're creating the monsters. And this is why, nothing on y'all musicians, this is why musicians are running from this service. I got that one, I got that one, I got that one. And it's like, you're doing the same thing. We're intermingling the same drummers, the same bass players, the same musicians and stuff. And we just got a different person coming from the same 66 books.
Yeah.
And we're begging on the same 8 to 10 people to come to our service. What are we doing? So the reset has to be, in the beginning was the word. Right? So if you go back to that, then you can enjoy the rest of your day and then plan strategically to serve God's people in the word. We're doing services just to dance. Just go to Planet Fitness.
Yep. Just go to Planet Fitness. Jay, it's a challenge with the check itself or the person who get what's in the person who gets the check.
I got nothing right now, especially after that.
You ain't Planet Fitness. All right, so
somebody got to say it, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
The click track is making. We should get a click track some checks.
Yeah.
We should hire a click track.
You all today, dog. I ain't got nothing right now.
Yeah.
I'm still
the click track doing all the work.
Yep.
Hours.
Wait, I'm sorry.
You only got to pay minimum.
What they doing? We go. There'll be 3 people there and go. Ooh, we had a good time. What was the word? Child. Ooh, the anointing. The prophet said, "I'm going to get this. I'm going to get that." Right, and then we on podcasts like this crying because we ain't got no musicians.
Yeah.
Or we ain't got the money. Stop lying to people about, oh, the Lord said sow a seed. No, you got to pay them dudes in the corner $600 or they going to shoot you.
Yep.
Stop lying on God. God did not tell you to tell nobody sow no seed.
That's why I got nothing.
Y'all going to get bad with me? I don't care because I ain't got a church. Listen. And you people in the pews, y'all got to stop tipping the offering and wanting good music. I can't hear nobody. Y'all gotta stop tipping in the offering. You're not tithing, you ain't giving, but you want good music. Good music costs money.
Good music costs, and we don't waste good dancing music. We'll stop it in a minute.
So if you want to help,
you're gonna get 30 seconds.
Be more focused in the word, and the musicians will come.
Come on, yeah.
Because here's a prophetic word I'm gonna tell y'all, and this is Keith Felser in the Holy Ghost, faith-filled flesh. If the members start to put a focus on God's word, right, and show that we are gathered here in Jesus' name, who in the beginning was the word. Nobody's begging for the beat or the music. The difference between church and a party is a party needs a DJ.
Yep.
A party needs a DJ. The church don't need a DJ. The church don't need a DJ. The church needs the word. And with the word, we are assigned to admonish one another in psalms and hymns and spiritual things.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, sir.
So then you can add the chicken, the food, the fellowship, the go out to the park and all that and the music. But if we make it all about the music, how can we sing Living in a Strange Land? I didn't see nothing in the text said that they plugged up the amps, they got the mics right, sound check, pull the organ in, keyboard player, oh, we need a trombone. No, how can we sing? Paul and Silas locked in jail. They didn't have a band with them in jail, but they prayed and they sang.
That's it.
I believe that we can develop the musicians from scratch. If we stop trying to set the tone, we're bringing in the dopest musicians and they leave out with a check, and the poor little kid at our church don't know what is our style.
There you go.
That's like Golden State renting out or leasing out Steph Curry because there's no other forwards on the other teams.
Yep.
Well, you don't understand the culture. That's like Jalen Hurts being a quarterback for 5 different football teams. How can you build around a Jalen Hurts?
Yeah.
And when the culture of the Ravens is totally different.
Yep.
Y'all see where I'm going?
That's good.
If the Hammond B3 player is a quarterback, we got the same quarterbacks running the 5 different teams.
Yes.
And we confused because they ain't playing right.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
We have Sundays full of all-star teams. We have Sundays full of all-star weekend. And y'all know what happens with basketball on all-star weekend.
Oh,
right?
Yes. Oh,
They don't
yes.
really play.
Nope.
Nobody really plays rough because it's not really my team.
Yep.
Woo-woo. I just said it, y'all.
Yep.
It's not really my team.
Nope.
I love these guys, but that's not really my team. So I'm not going to put my all in it. So I'm going to play cute.
Yep.
I'm going to play cute, get the endorsements, get the
Oh,
check,
my
whatever, and then I'm just going to roll off.
There you go.
There's nothing wrong with the all-star team, but that can't be your every Sunday.
Can't.
So what's the home team? All-star team should be the Koji Convention. All-star team should be the Revival. All-star team should be special Easter service, but we can't do all-star team in 15 churches every daggone week. Stop it.
Yep.
Stop it. Take time to develop and trust the process. Back to y'all.
All right, we got a few minutes left, so let me share something in regards to this comment. So I'm going to lean more onto what's in the person who receives the check, because I'm going to lean more that way. Go ahead and put it up, bro.
Lean. It's up there. Lean it.
Okay.
What?
I thought you were talking about a comment. Okay.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm gonna lean more toward what's in the person who receives the check, and the main reason why I'm gonna lean that way is because many of us musicians, we have not matured to the place of declining certain checks. We haven't. We haven't grown to the point of declining a dollar amount.
Wow, that's tough.
So that would point toward what's in the person who receives the check, because to what has been said over the last 2 weeks a lot, it's like, okay, if you know, as the musician, if you know you don't see yourself long term in this situation, you're accepting the check for what reason?
Exactly.
If you can't see yourself long term, but of course they are approaching you about long term, why are you accepting the check? That's a maturity factor for many of us. Not for all, for many of us, because we still have that segment who, again, financial literacy is a challenge. So to use Pells's vernacular, they looking to get that monthly number.
Yeah.
And they're only looking to do it in terms of playing for church in some type of capacity. That's the only way that they believe they're able to achieve their monthly number. So again, that segment, it's you need more information in regards to financial literacy. You need to kind of open your gaze and your scope so that you can consider things that are musical, that have compensation that's not necessarily a church service. You need to take that into consideration. Which I would like to talk about a lot of that next week. I would like to take some time and talk about the financial side for musicians, particularly if you came up in church, and whether or not you find yourself right now scraping a living on, the churches you play for.
Yep.
I want to spend some time really talking about, what's some other things you can consider so that maybe now you can position yourself not to not to be the floating free agent every week.
Exactly.
Or every weekend.
Yep.
As I've told you privately, I don't want to be that guy that always has a negative viewpoint or a negative word toward the younger generation, because they don't necessarily have the information that we have after 25 or more years.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily have that information. So I'd rather be the guy that says, okay, I'm willing to sit down and discuss with you the information. So maybe you can make more informed decisions. I'd rather be that guy. But going back to the comment, I'm going to lean toward what's in the person, because again, depending on your early influences and the people that you were around, because some people, they weren't around the best characters, or some musicians weren't around the best character guys. They were around guys who it was all about the money.
Right.
And that's it. And so the conversation is always, this is what you should be charging. Don't let churches do this. That's all the conversation ever was when it came to playing in church. It was, you should be charging this. Don't let church. But it's like, okay, if that's all the conversation that you've been around, then that environment has painted the church to be some type of villain.
Well,
Good.
if I can, I would share, even though I'm going to share more next week, God willing. But I would say to the musicians now, especially the young ones, if you're looking to get rich off of church, playing every Sunday, back and forth, you're looking in the wrong place.
Amen.
You're looking in the wrong place. That's not the place to do it. It's not going to happen. You have a 99.9% chance that it's not going to happen.
Yep. There you go.
If that's what you're looking for, playing for 4, 5 different ministries every week, if you're looking to get wealthy off of that, more likely you will be, you'll break your back literally, or get bent out of shape, or be sick before you reap that kind of situation. Why do I say that? Because playing for a long time, and Darren will tell you, and Keith will tell you, that's a lot of work.
Oh yeah.
And it does a number on your body. It does a number on your spirit. Running around to 3 and 4 churches every single week. You know how many rehearsals that is? You know how many extra services that you have to do to make that kind of money?
Yeah.
If you're looking for that, stop doing it. Plant yourself somewhere where you can grow 20, 25 years and learn about, as Darian said, financial literacy. Learn what to do with the money that you're making while you're young, so you can invest. You can do different things with it that will grow. So by the time you get 60, you can walk away from it. But if you still at 16, you still playing for 5 and 6 different churches every week, breaking your back trying to get in there, God bless you. I'm no hate to the ones that are.
Yeah.
But I just personally don't want to do that.
Yeah. All right, so we had one other comment. I gotta save it for next week because I actually have to condense it. And it's a comment Rob Speaks made on one of the short clips we shared, we shared. So, Rob, I'm coming to that comment about who determines in what way I serve. We're gonna start off next week with that comment because that's another one we're gonna need a lot of time to spend with. But again, appreciate you all for tuning in. Some last viewers: Shirley Gilchrist, Mrs. E9 Brister. Did I miss anyone else? We did mention Lady Dale Sharp Lee, Carlos Pena, Sharon Ferguson, Man Naismith. Thank you all for tuning in again. Please share this. If you haven't already liked the Between Sundays Facebook page, please do. Any of my Facebook friends that, you see this, you like what you've been hearing, some of the content, please make sure you like Between Sundays Facebook page. Thanks again, Pels. You got it.
Well, hold on.
I'm sorry.
Let me shout out.
My bad.
Take it.
Okay. Real quick, y'all. I need everybody. My new project is out. It just came out today. Meditations 4. If you love prayer music, if you love meditation music to go to sleep on, your children are rowdy, put it on and get some rest. But I need everyone right now, if you can. I want to put my thing in the comments. Go to my YouTube page. I have a YouTube page full of worship music, prayer music, meditation music. It should be in the comments. But check it out when you get the chance. Subscribe, like, and I'm telling you, I got videos in there. Hours of prayer music, 1 hour, 2 hours, all the way up to almost 8 hours of prayer music for those intercessors. So go subscribe. Also, it's on Apple Music, Amazon Music. Go check it out. Thank y'all for everybody that has supported me all the way through the years, all 4 projects. This is the 4th one that just came out today. I'll go live a little bit later on, around maybe 7 o'clock, and give you some more information, because there's a lot that I got to tell you guys. I'm so excited about this project and everything that comes with it. So thank you guys, and Pels, take it away.
Yeah. Listen, so again, Keith Pels are known for ranting. Keith Pels are known for ranting a little bit.
Oh boy.
I enjoy talking with these guys, and I like to address this stuff that a lot of times people don't like to talk about. Based on what Jay was saying there, perfect. Just think about the ministry he's serving at now, and forever how long God has him there. He would be an ideal person that a leader would know to build around. If someone like that is in your congregation, and Jay would know this, is if I have a church and Jay is with me on my team as a member, I'm gonna learn to incorporate that and say, we're going to feature one of the meditation pieces that you do in our worship experience. The same way if somebody's a good baker in the church and that person is making the cake, you don't sit there and wait on the offering on buy my cake. Just make the cake, serve the cake, and the people will buy the cake and say, hey, my daughter has a prom, my son has a prom, I got a birthday party up. How much do you charge? I did that with pictures. I just jumped in freelance, pow, and then people like, how much does it cost for you to do this? And there's other people sitting around, well, I bought a $3,000 camera and I'm trying to find work. It's like, yeah, you being stingy with your gift rather than showing them, and then eisegetically your gift will make room for you. Where's your place of serving that gets you the check? Right? Because it'll be recognized when you have a heart to serve. Remember the old song, the more you give, the more he'll give unto you. Just keep on giving, cause it's very true. You can't beat God's giving. If God gave you the gift and the talent, you got to have a place of give to see your gain.
There you go.
Right? And musicians, don't be scared. It's not one of them things. Nobody's sitting here saying, just go and dump all your time in for free, for nothing. No. But faith and trust in the process. In this day and time, if there was a prophetic word for now, where God has reset the playing field now, where you have to prove your servability before your earn ability.
There you go.
Wow.
Okay? Your servability before your earn ability.
That's good.
That's Keith Pels. I'm out. We're going to play something. And then he can do it all. Tamika Furby once again. Shout out to her. One of my favorite pieces. Enjoy it. We out.
Deserving of the top song on the charts. He deserves a standing ovation. He is major, stronger than any superhero.